Last week I got a letter from a fellow by the name of Nathan who sent me a note stating that I had a blind spot with respect to Tribulation Trump. And he went on to talk about the fact that not everybody who's a MAGA person who wants to make America great again is a Trump, if you will, sycophant, that they realize that Trump is a despicable character and person, but they believe that America does need a strong leader. And he said he voted for Trump for those reasons, but he said I needed to realize don't call all people that are MAGA people, lumping them all together in one basket the way I've been doing. And so I said, okay, I'll consider that. Then I got another email from a person named Karen who sent me this letter. She said, "Dear Pastor Manny, my name is Karen. I met you while we were in Gettysburg. I appreciate that Nathan clearly explained there are two types of Trump supporters. I'm black," she says. "For those like myself, I voted for him because I knew he truly loves our country instead of trashing it. He also defends our Christian religion and the nation of Israel, and he also knows about the economy and bringing jobs back into our country. I do believe God has used him for a time like this, and he is a good-hearted person. The only thing I disagree with, Nathan, is that he said that you had a blind spot so that you couldn't distinguish between the two kinds of Trump supporters." You know, Karen, I remember you. I do, for whatever reason. I remember talking to you at Gettysburg. There are a couple of things. One is, I have to say something to you. Trump don't give two damns about America. He doesn't. And it isn't in the general sense that he is a communist or some other kind of anti-American. He just doesn't care about what America stands for. It's not in his capable. He's incapable of doing it. Now I know you probably find that difficult, but he's a good liar. He can lie. I've never seen anybody lie like Trump. He'll lie and tell you. I mean, the hypnosis. Trump hypnotized you. Every day for 4 years, he wore a blue suit, a white shirt, and a red tie. Red, white, and blue. That's as American as it gets. That was a hypnotic trip. That was hypnotism. Why couldn't the man put on a different color suit? Why couldn't he wear a different color tie? The same tie over and over and over and over. Same blue suit, red. It was hypnotic. It was a game. Can't you see? He's a con man. He doesn't care anything about America. Not only that, he doesn't care about anything about Christian religion. Remember when he was down there at that school down there in South Carolina, Virginia, talking about 2 Corinthians? You don't know the difference between 2 Corinthians. Listen, anybody been around the church knows 1 Corinthians because they remember, though I speak with the tongue of men and angels and have not love, it profiteth me nothing. That's 1 Corinthians 13. Anybody who loves the Christian religion knows 1 Corinthians. They would have never said 2 Corinthians. Trump don't give a damn about Christians or the religion. You've been bamboozled. You've been conned. He's a good con man. Now he is. But come on. Would you say 2 Corinthians? Everybody who's been in church one day know 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And the nation of Israel. You know, Benjamin Netanyahu was in power, prime minister at the same time that Trump was president of America. Them two thieves got together. And like Trump was impeached twice, Benjamin Netanyahu is under criminal indictment as well. And because of Trump moving the embassy and because of he and Benjamin Netanyahu, 2 con men, trying to make Christians, especially Southern Baptist Christians, think that Trump loves the state of Israel, turned around and fooled around, and now because they got so, if you will, disgusted with Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, they got a Muslim, now the prime minister, or an Arab, I should say, who's not a prime minister of Israel because of Trump. Never in the history since Golda Meir, since David Ben-Gurion, since any of the leaders and prime ministers of Israel have they ever had an Arab prime minister. But because people were so sick of the con game that Trump was running on Israel and the con game that Benjamin Netanyahu was running on Israel, they were willing to have an Arab to try to, if you will, siphon off some of that filth that Trump brought to Israel. You're just blind, Karen. You don't know. And I don't want to insult you. I don't want to say that you're not politically astute or historically, and I certainly know you're no theologian or politician. The man's a con man. And bringing jobs back to our country, bringing jobs back from where? To who? And I believe God has used him for a time like this. Let me say something to you, Karen. How many people do you know that have been around Trump? You say you're a black woman, Hamite woman. Do you know Omarosa? Do you know what she thinks about Trump? She's been around him. Ask her what she thinks about him. Do you know any of the lawyers? Michael Cohen, who was his lawyer. Do you know what Michael Cohen thinks about him? Do you know what his niece thinks about him? Karen, name me one person, including John Kelly, who was in the car today when Trump insulted that woman whose husband lost his life over in Niger. That black man lost his life in Niger. John Kelly was in the car with Trump that day. Ask anybody. Ask any of his White House chief of staff. Ask his press secretaries. Ask his defense. Ask Bill Barr. Ask General Milley. Ask anybody who's been anywhere within 2 inches of this man, and they got nothing good to say about him. And everybody who has been around Trump, their life has been ruined. Rudy Giuliani used to be a good mayor. Everybody used to love Rudy Giuliani. Now he's a stumble bum drunk. You can't point to me, not even Trump's daughter, not even Melania. Listen, Karen, there is not one person who's had any contact with Trump whose lives have not been turned from sugar to you know what. I don't want to use that word. I don't use it. But you know, you're mistaken, daughter. You are mistaken about him. And so are the other people. He's a con man. But these truths you can't deny. You cannot find me one person who served in Trump with him while president or served with him while he was running Trump Enterprises that has one good thing to say about him. Like you're saying, they won't say it. They won't say it. Ain't nobody gonna say it because everybody knows the truth. You go on to say, I believe your true problem is when Trump made a serious mistake of claiming that Obama's birth certificate was legitimate. He lied. He's a phony. He's a con man. That's what he did. I got off the train. You're right to be upset, but you allow your anger to overtake your mind, to hate Trump, to point to nothing that good. He's done nothing good. What has he done? As much as I hate to say this, the economy that Trump received was the Obama economy, because he had the first, if you will, package of putting money into after the crash of the stock market in 2008. Trump got Obama's economy, and it just blew every day. And now Joe Biden's got Trump's economy, and it's going better than Trump. So don't, you're not an economist. And I'm not trying to insult you, Karen, but you just need to check yourself. And then you ask, when will you forgive Obama? How do you forgive the son of Satan? I don't know how to do that. I don't know. But I talked to Jesus and let him keep on doing what he's the son of Satan. God said he's the son of Satan. I don't know how to do that, Karen. But I can tell you this is people like yourself. Let me ask you, Karen, have you ever supported me? Have you ever given anything to this ministry? Have you ever taken the time to send $5 to help keep the work? If you were in Gettysburg, you saw the children. And if you listen to me, you see we feed the children. Are you a good person? You see me feeding children, educating children, helping children. If I'm not mistaken, I gave you a free ride to Gettysburg on a bus. You didn't have to pay a thing. Gave you a free meal. Fed you hamburgers and hot dogs down in Gettysburg. You didn't have to pay a thing. Have you ever turned around and been a good person to me? What you saw me do in Gettysburg is what a good person does. But have you ever, and I'm not here trying to berate you. God knows. Karen, I remember you and I love you. I'm not trying to berate you, but you need to check yourself. And the other thing, if you start giving and supporting me, You're going to lift Trump over me? You're going to take, what's Trump ever given? Has Trump ever given you a bus ride? Has Trump ever given you a hot dog and a hamburger and potato salad and sweet potato pie? Has Trump ever given anything to go in your stomach? But I have. I have. Yet you've never once turned around and said, here, Pastor Man, here's an offering. Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing for the children. Keep on educating them. Keep fighting for them, Pastor. I'm the good man you're looking for. And that clown suit, that hypnotic suit, that hypnosis, that hypnotic suit, that man wore red tie, white shirt. It's a clown suit. Every day, a uniform. Hypnotize you like a beep, 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 beep. That red tie waving back in front of you. It was a hypnotic job, hypnosis job. At any rate, about Karen, I still love you. And, I suppose you're probably going to get off the train with me now. But St. Lavi says the old folks that goes to church you never can tell. I'm James, everybody, I'm the Lord's servant. And don't you ever forget it.